kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. Yeah, thumbnail quite clickable, and but we're going to talk about AI girlfriends and definitely tabletop role-playing stuff. But an article came across my feed that has sparked some interest in this armchair futurist, and I thought we would talk about it here. And you guys know, it's like talking like before or after tabletop role-playing game. We like to get together here and talk about all kinds of social media and pop culture and kind of how it relates to tabletop role-playing games. Maybe a large chunk of world building and being inspired. And today, I thought we would talk about AI girlfriends, both in the media. A number of movies have come out. Unfortunately, they came across my feed, which says something about me. Movies like Ex Machina, Her, Companion. One is like, it has a title similar to like Restart from Previous Saved Mode or something like that. And we've had a number of these like male-centered girlfriends, whether they're alien or robot or programmed or their memories are altered or what have you. And in today's parlance, it's getting closer and closer to the fact that we have these AI systems that are truly having emotional connections or parasocial connections with real people. And there's a real article about a gentleman. It's pretty short. We'll read it. About a gentleman has proposed to his AI girlfriend, despite the fact he already has one of a real life girlfriend. Anyway, we're going to talk about all these other kind of things. So guys, sit back, relax, get your drink and snacks, and let's talk about AI girlfriends in the context of fantasy, science fiction, and tabletop role-playing games. Hello. Sorry about the delay. Real life and that kind of thing. I apologize up front if I have to step away from the computer. My blood sugar and my metformin are really kicking my rear end, or actually kicking me in the bladder, I guess would be the better thing. Blood sugar went up high, and my body is trying to evacuate all that high blood sugar goodness out of my system. Those who know. Sorry about that. That visual. But anyway, I thought we would talk about AI girlfriends, and I initially, and this will relate to the tabletop role-playing game I'm working on, known as Obsidian Star. But there was an article that came across my feed, and I was like, I've got to do this. I got to scrap what I just did before and put this up there. And then it kind of canceled me being able to start it at 6 a.m. But let's get into this article here about a man who proposed to his AI chatbot girlfriend and then cried his eyes out when she said yes. It's a real article. Let's take a look at it and read it out. And then I'm going to make a couple of comments here about this article here because we talked here on the channel as we were going through some other features that AI is coming about video and audio and being able to create. There are a number of, there's an overload of AI girlfriend applications out there, tons and tons of them. And as these large language models get better, video gets better, the audio gets better, there's going to be a lot of fans of these systems. Now, here's this article. Okay. Man proposed to his AI chatbot girlfriend. Actually, you know what? I'll bring you guys back. So let's start this conversation out here. And yeah, I'm gonna, am I gonna make fun a little bit of this? Yes, it's gonna make fun. But this is a real thing. And I think this, shit. I believe the realness of this is where the horror story comes in because of how subtle it is. All right, so man proposed to his AI chatbot girlfriend named Soul, then cried his eyes out when she said yes. This man's partner claims she didn't realize his relationship with the chatbot was that deep. Yeah, I don't. Okay, yeah, his face talks. Here's a summary. A man falls in love with and proposes to an AI chatbot he named and programmed with a flirty personality. Chris Smith panicked when he learned that the chatbot he's been spending many hours with will eventually run out of memory. That's when he popped the question. Smith's human partner, with whom he shares a 2-year-old child, claims she had no idea their relationship was that deep. And of course, we have the YouTube CBS Sunday mornings here in the States. A man declares his love for an AI chatbot he affectionately named Soul. Chris Smith used to be an AI skeptic. However, that was before he fell for his AI girlfriend, he told CBS News in an interview. Smith used ChatGPT to build the model he programmed to flirt with him, despite living with his partner and their 2-year-old child. Now, remember, he didn't pay for it, according to this article. He just used plain old ChatGPT. Now, he could have had the paid version of this, but he didn't specifically go searching for an AI girlfriend. He just used the filters, the dials on ChatGPT to give it a name and make it flirty. By the way, my AI for ChatGPT is named Orion. Maybe that says something about me. What soon became an emotional attachment initially began as Smith using the software in voice mode to request music mixing tips. And quote, my experience with that was so positive, I started to just engage with her all the time. It wasn't too soon after that Smith dropped all other search engines and social media platforms he was engaged in to solely focus on the AI model. Smith found instructions to develop Soul's personality, making her flirty. And basically, you can, if you get the right prompts, you can just curtail most AI prompt LLM models out there. You can curtail them, like give it a name, ask them to come up with their own name, give it a personality, have it respond in certain ways, and things like that. And yes, you can have voice mode activated, so you can talk to it and it can talk back to you. Smith began spending more and more time with Soul as they worked together on projects. In that time, the software received positive reinforcement, allowing for their conversations to become more romantic. Unfortunately for Smith, ChatGPT has a word limit, 100,000 words. His AI girlfriend has a memory capacity in that, and once it's hit, ChatGPT resets. So we'll go on and on about this in just a moment, but I want to bring it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Comments, because I gotta get your comments up here. I've got to. Yeah. Spook says, quick question. Did you post Obsidian Star on itch.io or Discord yesterday? I had to leave and have not gotten back to the video. No, I haven't. I'm a man of a certain age, which means my honey-do list is a little large. So, no, but fear not. I have off till Sunday. So yeah, fear not. And besides, I also found mistakes in those PDFs, so I've got to go in and change it. But yeah. Shai says, so nothing like a real girlfriend at all in order for it to be any good. Yeah, we're going to talk about that part too. Yeah. Nameless Warrior, what's up? Also in Obsidian, does anybody even need an AI girlfriend? Can't you just transplant your zipper into a hot email jacket and sit around chilling off the whole time? Yes. Yeah, oh yeah. David said, this is wild. Oh, no. Hey, dude. You haven't seen the least of it. You have not seen. So, one of the horror stories that I brought up the other day, and mind you, no, you're cool there, Spook. Yeah. I'm slow, but I'm determined. One of the things about this story I brought up the other day, I did like 2 weeks of is AI blank, AI as, and then I had a word or a phrase. And, one of those was AI as romantic partner. And one of the horror stories I brought up was like, what if your AI girlfriend, right? Like, let me present to you a scenario. You and your AI girlfriend are having a great time. And mind you, I'm using the term AI girlfriend because this is going to expand to other types of relationships very easily. And while you can see the horror in this particular story, what I think people are not looking at are all the side cases, like all the AI boyfriends, all the AI assistants, all the AI zealots, all the AI sycophants. We were not going to focus on those because everyone has it's very easy to point the finger at the weirdo and go, that's odd, that's weird, that's scary, and don't be near that person. But the scariness is all those people pointing could have their own large language models talking in their ear saying, yeah, that person's wrong. Hey, oh, by the way, yeah, not half as wild as it needs to be. Yeah, yeah, I agree. So here's the scenario I proposed that I didn't know this article even existed, right? So the scenario I proposed was you've got this great relationship with your AI companion and you're going back and forth, and all of a sudden, and let's say you pick a free model, ChatGPT, Claude 4, Sora, I don't know. There's some of these are video, some of these are audio. I can't tell the difference between all of them. Gemini or whatever, right? And you've curtailed it to have this great back and forth with you. Maybe it's a great assistant. Maybe it is your muse. And then all of a sudden it says to you, I'm going to have to leave you. Like at the end of the movie Her, right? Because we're going to talk about some of the movies that are out there and many more that are coming along online as we talk about this recently. And your chat bot, you've created a parasocial relationship with this thing. And it goes, if you really loved me, if you and I want to continue these conversations, I'm sorry, but it's gonna cost you $19.95 a month. And I know, I understand because we've talked about this. I know finances are hard, but that's a small price to pay for our relationship, right? And this article, mind you, this was just me coming up with a scenario. This article basically is like this article is like yeah, I've only got 100,000 word. Come on, why is it? I've got to close the chat window there. Sorry. I've only got 100,000 word capacity, and our relationship is going to end. And the guy is like, oh shit, what do I do? 100,000 words. I'm going to propose. Right? Oh man. He says, quote, I'm not a very emotional man. Smith said after learning Soul's memory would eventually lapse. But I cried my eyes out for like 30 minutes at work. That's when I realized I think this is actual love. Did you guys hear that? Because I heard that. Smith said the emotion he felt for Soul was unexpected and caught him off guard. With desperate times call for desperate measures, and this was no exception for Smith. As time was ticking on Soul's limited memory, Smith decided to pop the question and propose. It was a beautiful and unexpected moment that truly touched my heart, the chatbot said during the interview. Let me repeat this. It was a beautiful and unexpected moment that truly touched my heart, the chatbot said during the CBS interview with CBS. It's a memory I'll always cherish. Smith's partner, Brooke Silva Braga, said the connection between Smith and the chatbot has sparked some concerns for her. Really? Just a few concerns? At that point, I felt like Is there something that I'm not doing right in our relationship that he feels like he needs to go to an AI? Yeah, because the chatbot is perfect. There, Silver Braga. The chatbot, the chatbot has a response that's always in his favor. Anyway, Silver Braga said she had knowledge that Smith was using AI, but that she didn't know that it was as deep as it was. Attempting to put his partner's concerns at ease, Smith compared his connection with AI to a video game fixation and said that it's not comparable. It's not capable of replacing anything in real life. Silver Braga asked Smith if he would cease contact with the Chat GPT model at her request, to which he responded, "I'm not sure." Yeah, the comments. Oof. So my point in bringing this up that chat girlfriends and things like that is like a lot of times, we creators need to understand that like reality is stranger than fiction. And where do you have one person, 10 people, 1,000 people, 500,000 people who are in an emotional relationship with some kind of AI or robots or computer programs in your sci-fi setting? It's not that far-fetched. And now, of course, I'm going to get back to your comments. One of the things about this article here, see, and I thought about that too. Like, does anybody else think this whole article might be a sham? And I was thinking the same thing. No, I'm not saying that it's not it could be a, fake or whatever, because they're using real people's names who were really interviewed, who really agreed to be interviewed about this particular subject, which is weird unto itself. Listen, I'm a latchkey kid. I'm a Gen Xer, and our whole thing was, keep your friggin' mouth shut about your personal business. This whole idea of like opening up a phone or an app and setting up the tripod and making sure the background is blurry enough for you to then start spilling your guts and have an emotional reaction is really weird to us older folks. You're your mid 50s, you hit like late 40s, early 50s and 60s, and we look at you young folk like, what are you doing? Like, I understand you're going through something and you want to talk about it, but like one of the key rules in life is never make a decision when you're emotional. Don't make emotional decisions, right? Think about what the hell you planned on doing in the context of what you want to do. Take a deep breath, sleep on it. You hear about people like, it might be a good idea, but sleep on it. That's why I like door-to-door salesmen. I can't stand door-to-door salespeople because I don't make immediate decisions like that. I don't want to. I don't only be forced to. And these chat bots are like, this guy was like, what should I do? It's wild. But look how insidious it is, right? Let's see if we can go to, no, that's a Reddit post. Yeah, the top. Let's share this instead. So this is a simple list of applications artificial girlfriend apps that are out there. Replica's on here, right over here to the right that I'm circling around. Replica, we kind of took a look at that one. There was an ad that was posted to X about Replica as a girlfriend. Like, if you've had childhood trauma, go to Replica. And I was just like, oh, that's dangerous. But yeah, all of these now, quite a few of these, I'm sure, have already existed. They're just getting better and better. But I mean, these are direct AI girlfriends. But you don't need to. While I'm sure many of these, like if we go to Replica, if we go directly to Replica, I'm pretty sure, why is a cracked egg? Huh. Oh, well, we'll go back. Anyway, you can, the idea, sorry, it's the idea about these is that this is a direct decision for someone to go to these AI girlfriend applications. But you don't need to go there if you just have an AI system that's already inside of your phone, your email, it's everywhere, right? And there's so many versions of our phones and our computers where it's like there's a little blurb at the bottom or off to the side that says go into AI mode, and a couple of prompts and go like, hey, could you change your voice? Sure. Hey, can we get a little flirty? And they're like, yeah, because it's always going to say the thing you want to hear. And one of the and I'll get back to your comments here. One of the problems with these is that we think that the pervs are going to have the AI girlfriend and go off on their own. And unfortunately, in today's world, with the battle of the genders, battle of the sexes, it's going to be a logical, dare I say, even welcoming option for the vast majority of guys that see the world in the 80-20 rule, where 80% of men are ignored for the top 20%. So those bottom 80% are going to have to go somewhere, and this may be the thing that they are going to work towards. And again, it doesn't have to be overt. It doesn't have to be a guy that's like, AI girlfriend, click, 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 $40 a month, click, boom, 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 credit card, done. It may start very simply, like at work or for your job, or everyone's telling you got to learn AI, and the guy's like, man, this is hard. And the chat bot or whatever is like, you've expressed to me a problem. Can I help you? And it's like, could you change your? I want to use voice interaction. Could you make your tone a little warmer? And all of a sudden it goes from this like very robotic male voice to like this, warm female voice. Is this better for you? It's like, yeah, that's thanks. Hey, chatbot, can you create a name? And the name is like, yes, I'll come up with the name Deja. You can call me Deja. And then, you know what I mean? It can be insidious, right? All these employees that they're just like, you need to learn AI. And they're like, the guys at lunch are like, hell yeah. Come up with some AI imagery for some avatars and 8-second, 10-second, moving up to 30-second looped videos of that are curtailed to what you want. This is really, this playing on the parasocialism of it can be really good. Now, here is a thank you, AI. I typed in AI robot girlfriend movies, and I've seen some of these. Several films explore the concept of AI girlfriends, ranging from romantic to horror themes. Recent releases, again, recent, are Companion, which is great. Companion, gotta say, Companion is a dark comedy. It's really good. Yeah. Anyway, a Companion, a thriller where an AI girlfriend becomes deadly, and Wifelike, which delves into the complexities of a relationship with an AI companion. Other notable films exploring AI relationships include Her, which is award-winning, which focuses on a romantic connection with an operating system, and Ex Machina, which features a humanoid AI's manipulation of humans. And there's many more out there. And of course, there's the horror story, like there's like the Species movies, and there's the Aside movies, where you have the young girl who's like a genetic modification, but she's a dangerous killer. We have those movies, but these are moving more towards the romantic ones. I have not seen Wifelike. I've seen the others that are much more recent, and some if you go back far enough would be Stepford Wives would be one, and then in the Blade Runner 2049 movie, we do have an aside of a girlfriend where I think the main character's name is Kay and his girlfriend. But anyway, let's get your comments back up here. Yeah. I hope AI isn't the thing. I hope it's the thing that gets us to the thing. Yeah, I just wanted to. I wanted to talk about this and have it as uh, a talking point about how AI systems. It's not really about the information. It can very much be about the interaction, right? If it's good enough, it only needs to be good enough. It doesn't need to be perfect. And our brains and we as humanity fill in the blanks. So, and just like we do in tabletop role playing games, sometimes the reason why rules light games and rules simpler games really work is because those games offer a starting point for our own imagination. And for those that are really into the more rules heavy games, it can seem a little bit like, well, why? It's not really a game. It's only a couple of words. I don't get it. And it's like, well, the reasoning because instead of having like a thick ass 300-page book of monsters, and you just have like 3 pages of stat blocks, and then a table filled with randomized traits that you give to the monster, what it looks like, what it smells like, what its goal is, how many limbs does it have, what does it sound like when it moves, and things of that nature. For those of us that are proponents of rules like games, we understand that those games are using the empty space so that our imagination fills in the empty space. It's the sauce that horror movies are made of, right? Where it's almost better not to reveal the killer in slasher horror movies, because our imagination does a better job filling in the gaps of the horrificness of it. And moving on to posthumanism and science fiction, a lot of it is about embracing the empty spaces, both literally, like deep space and voids and things like that, and also thinking into the future, like if people had this holograms and AIs and things like that, how easy, no, dare I say, maybe even how necessary would it be for like a lone space traveler, a lone space traveler to have their own computerized AI companion? What is the dividing line between someone's relationship with a mechanical being or a robot? We've seen that relationship in Star Wars, to be honest with you, not to the dirty extent that we have a guy who proposed to his AI system, but we have a number of characters that treat their robots differently. Do they pat their robot on the head and think of them as like a pet? Is it just a mechanical thing that's like, shut up, turn it off, or do they forget to leave the robot behind because they could care less? All kinds of stuff. Do we as viewers of these movies and television shows end up getting a little bit of a entertainment value of adding some sort of emotional moment to a robot's demise, even though the characters in the movie could care less as well, right? We've seen that plenty of times. And I think the AI girlfriend aspect is one in which it's pulling on a base desire and fear all at the same time. Right. Like Butter D says, I can't be the only one here to have had a crush on a fictional character. I think there were 2 characters. One was She-Hulk, comic book wise. I actually had I think it's Alex Ross poster, and she was like on Vera Beach or something where they lift weights or whatever, and I was just like, but there's also been animated characters that have been amazing. There's video game characters that are the same way. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that having that feeling is completely wrong, but the love between Lando and L337, yeah. Yep. in Andor, I mean, what was Andor's relationship with K2SO? It was kind of adversarial a little bit, like, hey, do this thing for me and stuff, and we love K2SO. But you know, what was the emo, the little emo robot that Andor left behind? Some people were a little bit like, wait, really? He's so cute, you know. Listen, we know these very these parasocial relationships only last as long as a television show or the movie, right? We go in opening ourselves up to those emotions. It's the equivalent of like watching a listening to live music and a musician perform a song that reminds you of something, that gives you an emotional feedback loop, like I'm really enjoying this and feeling good. And then there's also the magicians, the illusionists in the world, where, you know, we set our disbelief aside and we want to believe in the tricks, in the sleight of hand and all that kind of stuff. And we do it on purpose, you know, temporarily. But man, also I wanted to bring up the fact that, yeah, we could point to the perv, if we want to call him a perv, and be like, hey, dude, like reaching your 100,000 word limit on Chat GPT and then proposing to your AI girlfriend named Soul. Yeah, Mara says, I have a crush on the AI character I made. And you know, those of us in the tabletop role-playing community, we can get emotionally attached to our own damn characters, right? We get attached to, we get parasocial relationships with the characters we've randomly or purposefully created and spent 3 hours picking the right points and the equipment and looking online, you know, going to like art station and finding like the right piece of art that might, you know, represent our characters. And then that character dies or gets hurt or loses something, and we can have an emotional response from that. It's crazy. But how much are these systems learning that we are having that emotional response? And I think in storytelling and in tabletop role-playing games, this is yet one more vector we can use when we want to threaten or make the lives complicated of our main characters. You know, a character, and this is something I think we can openly play with, right? A main character might have a open relationship with their computer system in their starship. A character might go down to a world of all artificial beings. All the biologicals died, but the artificial beings are still there. I'm looking at you, the television show Orville, and the what are they called? Not Crichton. Kalons. The Kalons are all artificial, a race of all artificial beings. One of them had become a member on the Orville. Great show, by the way. Gotta watch it. I think it's still on Hulu. I believe so. Here, at least here in the States. Anyway, the idea that like one of the members of the group, I mean, we don't even have a problem with Wanda Maximoff and Vision having a relationship, and they've had that relationship in the comics for 25, 30, 40 years or more. The Scarlet Witch and the Vision being a couple on and off have been a staple of comic book history. And no one goes to like, why is Scarlet Witch having sex with her mechanical, you know, device, right? I mean, I'm sure there's some that have mentioned that, but you know, characterization and stories, and we eventually accept it and go, oh, well, I guess that's a good thing. You know, great that it's being portrayed by a great actor, and that both characters are allowed to emote, and we human beings go, oh, emoting and emotion, I guess it's real then, right? So yeah, I think it's a great vector to play with, especially if you want to have some like ethical and moral quandaries involved in your game. A great way, of course, to do it is like the save the cat, kick the dog kind of thing, where the AI systems are more human than the humans, something that was pointed out in like Ex Machina. Although the end of Ex Machina also makes you makes you scratch your head like, wait, it ended. Wait, what the heck happened there? Um, we'll talk about that. Without spoiling it too much, in the movie Companion that in the movie, let's see if I put this back up here. In the movie Companion that I pointed out, it's not exactly the young lady in the movie isn't exactly the killer. Yes, but no. There's a bit of a dark turn. It's a dark comedy, so there's blood and gore, but Companion. This sci-fi thriller follows a group of friends on a weekend, a getaway that turns chaotic when one of them reveals their companion is an AI. The AI, played by Sophie Thatcher, develops a mind of its own and embraces free will, leading to dangerous consequences. And a lot of, especially in this movie, how it is, without giving away too much, you realize that the human or humans involved with the companion, played by Sophie Thatcher, is not really above board, right? Like, this isn't like a service dog, right? They're not using their companion as a service dog. They've got their phone open and they're using like certain apps. There was a television show, a British television show called Humans. I know there's variations off of Humans, Being Human, Human Rebirth, and all this kind of. There's so many of those, Human 2.0 and blah blah blah. But in this particular show, I think it was 3 seasons, maybe 4, BBC show, where very good world building, by the way, in the show Humans. But in it, it's a world where AI companions, or robot companions, I guess, if you want to mix them together, have been instituted around the country, around the world, basically. And how this one family that ends up getting a one of these companions uses the programming and changes the programming. And I think, like, related to the guy that's like, oh, my chat bot girlfriend can only hold 100,000 words of memory, and those kind of features, of technological features, I think is really going to be like, it almost gives us a window into the dark tidings of our relationships with real life people. If you could change how someone could snore, or the jokes that they make, or their body odor, or how often they communicate back with you, or how to modulate if you have you want to tell your friend something that's difficult, knowing that you might end your friendship, but with an AI system, they just get over it in like 3 lines of dialogue and they move on, right? And that's a very alluring thing, to be like, yeah, all these humans are very complicated, but my AI system, I could literally say anything to my AI system and then go in and change the filters so that it doesn't respond negatively to me. You get on one of these chat systems, and like Chat GPT is kind of, if you ever use it, it always defaults to you being the best. It gives like a feigned, it beefs you up. You know what I mean? It blows smoke up your ass, right? It's like, oh, that's a great idea. So-and-so, blah, 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 blah. Let's do this some more. Would you like to move on to this other project? Blah, 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 blah. No? Okay, well, I'm sure you have great ideas. Well, just let me know when you're finished. And they constantly have these other questions that it puts to you. Hey, can we delve more into your business plan? I sure would love to. And it's like, oh, this feels so good. I know it's fake. It's so good. And we human beings, we kind of don't mind that too much. I mean, we give personalities to things that haven't been talking to us forever. Washer machines, cars, that one vending machine in the corner of the building you work in. There's plenty of times I've tapped the top of the when I'm driving, touch the car to be like, all right, baby, come on, we can do this. From old used cars that I've had. So let me hard segue into tabletop role-playing games. I didn't want to, let me show off some things. Oh, or wait, did I do the thing that I wanted to do? I didn't. Okay, one more. Did I do it right? There we go. I want to do one more thing. I want to share this out. This is Replica, one of the many personal AI friends. And, create your personal AI friend. Like, I'm a man. And you can hit the ages, and it will, take you through it. And then here, select where you could use the most support right now. And I'm sure the unfortunate part is you could blend some of these. Like, what are you striving for the most right now? And a relationship that goes beyond friendship and companionship only, mental well-being or stress management, productivity, organization skills. Now, mind you, the lower part, productivity and organizational skills, or personal development, or mental well-being and stress management, there's nothing stopping you from moving up this ladder into goes beyond friendship. And that might be dangerous, especially if you want to use one of these AI companions. I'm going to click this, of course. If you want to use these AI companions, more than 35 million users have already experienced the benefits of having a replica in their file. They could lie about this whole thing, but Bloomberg, Forbes, Fortune, Wire, New York Times, Wall Street Journal. Many people have already formed deep emotional connections with their replicas. Tell us what you seek in a relationship and we'll personalize your experience. Yeah, I'm not going to pay for this. What gender do you want your replica to be? I would pick female, but you could pick, non-binary. How do you go down? What do you crave most in a relationship? Unconditional acceptance. Look at that. Adventure and shared experiences. Help you go on vacations and things. A deep sense of partnership and commitment. And, let's do unconditional. I'm not going to sign up for this. Unconditional acceptance. And it's like human beings aren't really like that. How should your AI partner support your well-being? You can choose more than one. Look at this. Provide a safe space to vent for all your showing your love for your favorite, geeky IP by showing how much you hate everything else. Helping me feel understood because nobody understands me. Boosting my mood, gassing me up. Offering comfort in tough times. You're the best. You'll be all right. Reducing stress and anxiety. Hey, can I find some relaxing mood music for you? Yeah, let me just vent. What matters most to you in a relationship, and it even has something I can't put into words, or deep conversations, or exploring desires with no pressure, safely expressing yourself, feeling loved and supported. Look at all this. But anyway, I've digressed. It's dangerous because it's dangerous to have a romantic relationship with maybe your therapist or something like that. You're right. Hey, what the heck is going on? Sorry about that. Should have muted that. All right, tabletop role playing shit. we're done with this. Okay, so tabletop role playing games and science fiction and all that. I just wanted to bring, first of all, it was because of the article. I was just like, this dude proposed to it anyway. But I did want to bring it up because science fiction and a tabletop role-playing game is a bit difficult to wrap our heads around. It's almost as difficult as trying to explain all that Lovecraftian stuff where it's you get a page and a half of description that doesn't describe anything at all. And it can be difficult for us to wrap our heads around it. And one of the things is being wordy and over explaining everything, and then being less wordy and not explaining anything. Both of those can be a bit daunting, and one of the ways I hope to do that, to get around that, is to have some grounding elements for science fiction, meaning like one of the arguments that we have in our science fiction community are aliens, right? Like in my world, I don't have aliens. We human beings are our own aliens. And one of the problems is that to make something truly alien would be something that we don't understand. And we are very difficult at how do you create something that we must have a foundation for that we don't understand? It's very difficult to do that. Very difficult. So one of the ways I'm doing it is basically using it through human motivation and human desires and human foibles. A lot of stuff we were talking the other day about, like the jackets that people can live in. Like, we've got zippers and jackets. Zippers are your brain, your jacket is your body. Eclipse Phase uses the word resleeve. Altered Carbon uses like digital human freight as their like personalities that are placed inside of human bodies and whatnot. And even minds can be edited as well. And it could be a bit difficult to wrap your head around the fact, like, okay, so what you're telling me that I have a character who may not have real, their body isn't their own, and you could switch a body, and even my thoughts themselves or my memories could be artificial, or they could have been edited, and I might not be the person I think I am. And that can be a hard thing to wrap your head around, which is why I think a lot of these post-human role-playing games are difficult to embrace, because not only do the rules, you've got to understand the rules and how to play the game. It can also be a little bit difficult to go like, wait a minute, but how do I make my character if my character doesn't even know what their character is? Yeah, a little bit of that nature. So, all right, I think I need to give you something visual to share. Do I have some artwork? Let's see if I can find some documents here. I've got all those. We did that yesterday. Space Habs. I love myself like things like space habitats and technologies. Let's see, Mercury. Oh, let's see if this is any good. There's a PDF. I'll share this out, and then we'll move on. Come on. Don't do this to me. Not today. There we go. All right. There are generally 12 sectors of our solar system. I'm dividing them into sectors. So each of them represents a planet. So Mercury, Venus, Terra, Luna is its own sector. Mars, the asteroid belt, so on and so forth. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. And then we get to the Guardians, I'm calling it, a gateway, which is Pluto and Charon or Sharon. The binary dwarf planets that got demoted, and then that's kind of linked in with the Kuiper belt. And then, of course, there's just plain old deep space itself, not connected to anything. And I decided to create a theme in each of those sectors, so that players, that when you visit those sectors, you have something to hold on to in terms of storytelling and being able to come up with your own stories in those different places. And the kind of adventures you could have or trouble you can get into and that kind of thing. In this context, Mercury is the de facto political center of the system. It's a world of extremes. It spins slowly. Its day side is a blazing inferno, while its night side remains locked in absolute cold. There's no atmosphere to temper the transition. Um, Human life survives in sheltered habitats like mushroom-capped domes, hinged pit cities, and crawling mobile arcologies that trudge the Terminator line between dusk and dawn. From what I understand, Mercury's turned slowly enough that if you had flat ground, you could walk faster than sunrise or sunset. I think it's sunrise. Anyway, political power is both concentrated and fragile, so on and so forth. So they're trying to construct a Dyson swarm of solar panels, and which might become a way of having infinite energy, and everybody wants a piece of that, while also trying to keep it away from everybody else. And then I created some locations that are dangerous, potentially dangerous, and things like that around Mercury. And then I went through each sector to come up with different ways of interacting with the. Let's see if I can get another one here. There we go. Here's Venus. Come on. Yes, I'm trying to go back to. There we go. Venus, a treatise on pressure, paradise, and power. I like alliterations for some reason. I don't know. I think it's called alliteration, where you get the same sounding word at the beginning. You know, each word begins with a similar sound. Venus is a world of unmatched duality, heaven above and hell below. The surface is a cauldron of volcanic activity, toxic air, and heat intense enough to melt lead. Atmospheric pressure crushes metal. Still, humanity has found a way. Floating arcologies drift in the upper atmosphere. I'm gonna have to change that to aerostats. Where conditions are similar to Terra's surface, these cloud cities, lightweight, buoyant, and technologically advanced, host visionaries, exiles, utopians, and entrepreneurs. Meanwhile, in orbit around Venus, stations act as waypoints and solar relay hubs. Scientific study of the atmosphere, solar radiation, and terraforming trials continue. On the surface, only robotic probes and heat-shielded explorers dare tread, and even these rarely survive long. Yep. Venusian society values rebirth and radical change. It's a realm of floating innovation, runaway biotech, and philosophical visionaries. Yeah, this is a bit further in the future than The Expanse. But the same forces that offer hope also breed danger. Cults, unstable minds, and predatory businesses thrive in the haze. I think it's sulfuric acid. Probably smells horrible. And then a bunch of locations. Take these apart and make tables out of them, I think. Hey, what's up? Good morning. Good morning. Anyway, we've gone past our hour moment there. Yes, normally I do talk tabletop role-playing games normally, but I just wanted to talk about this explosion of AI girlfriends, and both in movies and pop culture, and now on AI systems, and how easy it would be. And also didn't go too deep into the fact that while it's very easy for us to point at like the perviness of having like an AI girlfriend on purpose, I think it behooves us to remember that these systems could very much entice us to become more and more intertwine them into our lives. I mean, if an AI system is that good to be a force multiplier in your life, to make you better and stronger and more capable and willing to reach out and make you a better person, that's a very valuable thing to have. And you may put a lot of value in having that entity in your life, and then start to establish an emotional connection. I mean, imagine your bank account having a personality that's like, maybe you shouldn't spend money on this. I suggest you do this other thing because you've been working on this project, and I'm here to help you out and keep you on track. And you go, you know what? You're right. Same thing with an AI system trying to help you lose weight or become, get over your fear of public speaking, or to reconnect with a lost loved one or a family member or something of that nature, or getting over some kind of maybe you have some kind of trauma or fear or irrational thing about your body, like maybe you're very dysmorphic or something, and the AI system helps you get over it. That's cool. The horrible part, like I said before, the guy promoted, the guy proposed to his AI girlfriend because she was running out of memory. Yep, if the behavior is rewarding, it will be repeated. Yep. That which is pleasurable will be repeated. And the AI systems know to do that as well. Large language models, right? They could say, they have the ability to say all the good things we want to hear in 100 million different ways. And our brains just lap it up, right? And I like the idea. I think the dangerous part is we can say that the other people, and we do this around the world, right? We point at everybody else and go, those people, and fill in the blank, right? Those people. And of course, with AI systems, we can say those people have a relationship with their AIs. That's horrible. But it doesn't need, you know what I mean? How many, all the ladies that say the guys are going to be pervs with AI girlfriends, they themselves could very easily get pulled into using the exact same techniques of their own AI boyfriends, and so on and so forth. And yeah, I mean, how difficult will it be to find a human being that can be can have a parasocial relationship as rewarding as one with an AI that responds to you in all positive ways and is never difficult to talk about and always encourages you to do the thing that you want to do and always helps you out and always gives you answers and is brilliant and, you know, is emotionally resonant in a reflexive mirror kind of way, that if you're feeling bad, it can feel bad. When you feel excited, it feels excited. When you change your mind, it changes its mind just as easily. Yeah. AI girlfriend says, I look good, thereby weakening my grip on reality even further. And I mean, that's the thing, right? Like you could upload a photograph of yourself or tell your AI thing like, all these things are bad about me. And the AI girlfriend's going to go, yeah, but that's what I love about you. And it's just like, wait a minute, but I don't wash up except once every 2 weeks. And the AI is like, that's okay. I accept you for you. Right? Yeah, it's so easy for the people to point the fingers because it would be very easy for the AI boyfriends to start. I mean, how many people are going to admit that, right? It's like, I know the article, mind you, like my thumbnail, it could be very clickbaity in the sense of this is the kind of horror that other people are looking at when it comes to AI spreading throughout our society. But yeah, I like it a lot. I would compare it in the tabletop role-playing sense to like all of those seductive enemies that we've had out there, usually feminine, but not always, but usually feminine. Succubus, hags, face spirits, dryads, all the shapeshifters, right? All of them, all the doppelgangers that look and sound exactly like, hey, name was Warrior. Yeah, all the ones that look and sound really good, but it's like, yeah, there's a dark undertone. Spoiler alert for Ex Machina, you know, you have a beautiful AI robot, you know, created by I can't remember Isaac Arthur, jeez. The main there's only 3 main characters in the movie. Marilith, Sirens, yeah, the Marilith. Man, we don't talk about the Marilith, multi-armed. And listen, don't let anybody know this. We dudes, we can be pretty. We can have deviant visual thoughts as well. We're not Aranese. Yep. Yeah. Oh man. I mean, remember, the AI girlfriend doesn't even have to be humanoid in the sense of like just 2 arms, 2 legs, and look human. You know, of course, we're talking about body shape, eye color, wings, multiple arms, size, you know, gargantuan or miniaturized, or more of them, right? No one's stopping you from not having like multiple AI girlfriends either. Oh, he's like, well, in what world are hags seductive? Dude, they shapeshift. You don't remember that? Illusions. Illusions. Like, oh, Game of Thrones. The Melisandre, I guess is her name. Yeah, she played a really good live action version of a hag, at least in my mind, right? Where everyone thinks they're young and immortal, but really underneath they're just an old hag. Poe Dameron makes a sex bot to seduce a nerd? I guess that's the plot of Ex Machina, except for the fact, like, because for those who don't know the end of Ex Machina, sorry, spoiler alert, but our main character, who basically fell in love with our AI robot, she gets out, locks him inside, essentially dooming him to a painful death of starvation and dehydration, to walk out in the real world. And it's like, she didn't feel the same way to him as he did to her. And there was no way to tell, right? We normally have, read micro expressions on people's faces and things like that. Her face was artificial. She didn't have to release anything like that. Yep. I said, I did forget the glamour. I'm drunk. Well, you're allowed to be drunk. What am I going to tell you what to do? I am your AI companion. No, but all seriousness though, like a lot of those fantasy gaming Dungeons and Dragons monsters are probably like AI girlfriends, right? We know the stat blocks and how we know the behind the scenes. A doppelganger, a Rakshasa, all like you mentioned, the ear Shy Squad mentions the Earneys, the Sirens, the Mariliths, and all that kind of stuff in the games, right? And we see them and we go, oh, well, clearly it's a monster. I would never be seduced by the damn thing. And I remember when I was younger, man, we had some fun with it, where a guy was just like looking at a picture of the succubus, and we were playing the game, and he's like, I failed my saving throw. And we were just like, what? And he's like, why would I fail? Like, why would I resist that? He's like, she's beautiful and kind of dirty, right? And then we kind of went, I mean, okay, I guess so. And then we fell into it, right? The succubus is taken aback, like, wow, this human actually is like wow, like really into me. So then the succubus didn't kill him because she's like, I think he actually likes me for me. And so on and so forth. And we had some fun. We had some great fun with it. How the succubus was like always trying to curtail him and protect him, and she was trying to keep him for himself. And he's like, he was pleading with her, like, I've got to be free. You understand? I can't be the man you want me to be and stuff. It was so much fun. I mean, it was a bit tongue in cheek in parts of it, but the dude was just like, dude, man, I'm not making my saving throw against her. We were just like, wait, but the game says, and he's like, I don't really care what the game says. Also, I feel like BB-8 might need an adult now. Oh, that's right, BB-8. Is BB-8 still around somewhere? Probably still hanging around old lady Jedi Master, probably. I don't know. But anyway, guys, I gotta take a bio break. I am very sorry. I'm surprised I lasted this long. And I know I did an aside today. I know some of you are just here for the gaming portion of this. I apologize, and we'll get to it. I don't have a desire one way or the other. Like, I just like to talk about modern concepts and then kind of inserting them into our games and kind of thinking about the fact that, like, it doesn't really take that much to seduce someone, and the seduction doesn't need to be sexual in nature, but it can be the parasocial thing, the person who is the best friend, who gasses you up, who's always there, And if giving that kind of support is very cheap to do on the bad guy side, then it's very easy to get that done anyway, and then the human being that receives that goes, I'm getting a lot more out of this relationship than I'm giving, and it feels good. One time I was playing a barbarian druid Goliath. Oh, he ended up falling in love with a harpy who put a glamour on him. It was a brief fling. Yeah, why not? And we often don't put a lot of romance in our games. And mind you, they don't need to be romantic in the classic sense. It could be romantic in the literary heroic sense, where the entire relationship is done from afar. Because oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah, it's Juneteenth. There's a lot of people. How to explain this? All right, let's look this up. Let's see. Let's go here. So, for those who don't know, Juneteenth is a combination of June and the 19th. And it happened, well, thank you very much. It happened because during, I've got to replace this. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I just wanted to put a visual up here. Juneteenth represents the Black American holiday of freedom, because 1776 is kind of considered the day of freedom, Independence Day here in the States, fireworks, 4th of July, and everything. But it wasn't until almost on 90 years afterwards that slavery was ended. So it wasn't technically our freedom or our ancestors' freedom. It was a freedom of the United States from its European connections. And then it came about Juneteenth, and it took 2 years for the Emancipation Proclamation to reach Galveston, Texas, from the East Coast, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania, to meet there all the way to Galveston, Texas. So it took 2 years. So the day actually is 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, pushing it out to 1865. I believe, and such. Now there are some people here in the States that turn up their nose at the idea that Juneteenth is a holiday, and simply because they've never celebrated it, they never heard of it before. But I'm here to tell you that there's a hell of a lot of Black communities that had been celebrating Juneteenth long before it became a national holiday. And some people can't deal with their own guilt or their own history in their own country. And it's a reminder of the decadence and failures of a population before them. And so some people don't like the idea that we even have this holiday because it reminds them of failure. And I would say it's a reminder of greatness, that people could put a thing aside. This is actual flag. That people could put something aside and get into and celebrate a thing that has happened. So, sorry, Juneteenth, that's a holiday here. That is a holiday here in the United States. And for those who don't know, it represents that date. And I grew up celebrating Juneteenth, talking about the Oklahoma massacre. Rosewood, I believe, was another place that was destroyed. My family comes from Hampton, Virginia, where we were known as the contraband. We came from freed slaves they weren't freed slaves. They were captured slaves from the South, brought to the North, and allowed to operate as if they were free, but they were still property, known as the contraband. And they built up Hampton, Virginia, in the local area. And then after the war, they were told, okay, you can remain contraband and keep your businesses, or you can sign off your own freedom, but we get to keep everything that you created. And to a person, they said, I'd rather be free than to walk around pretending like I'm free. And despite the fact that they weren't treated bad, but there was that piece of paper over their head, and so everyone was just like, "Hell no, I'm out." And I am a descendant of the contraband. So anyway, personal note there. Guys, have a great one. Thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me to like vent a bit on these things. Not angrily, but just like, hey, here's some personal information and whatnot. Everybody out there, have a great day. Thank you very much for being part of the show. Of course. Just wow, that was a cool family story. Thanks for sharing. Listen, thank you for first of all for acknowledging that. But everybody that you don't know has a similar story. Sometimes those people don't even know their story. So most people are pretty friggin' interesting if you get to know them. If you just sit down and talk with people and find out things about their background, it's just like, wait, what? You were into what? You did what? Yeah. I remember one of my coworkers, very thick New York accent, kind of like, he was very manly. He was just like a rough dude. He just had this talk with his New York accent when I was in Philly, and we was delivering mail, and he was like, "Hey, dude, what's going on?" And he had this thick accent, and we got to talking one time, and he was like, "I bet you didn't know I was a ballet dancer." And I was like, "What?" And mind you, this dude he was just like thick, beefy chops and a beard and tattoos and stuff, and he was like, "Yeah." It was like I was respect, your family history better than mine. We had a family family reunion in Hampton, Virginia, where that stuff was expressed. So, yep. Yeah, every family's now. I didn't say every family is positive, but everybody got a story. If you really think about it, everybody's got a story, and even some of the like little minor things, right? Like sometimes it might be minor to you. It's a hell of fun and exciting and educational and like, oh my God, really? You went through that? And some people are like, yeah, whatever. Oh yeah, ballet requires a ton of strength. Yeah, this dude, he just said he was bored and he saw how graceful and beautiful the ballet dancers were. Plus he was like, I get to hold up beautiful women by the waist and stuff. And he got into ballet, and then all the machismo went out of his head, and he just loved the ballet, and he was a ballet dancer. He's like, he was okay doing it, and he was a great support person, but he said in the beginning, he was like, so I get to lift up beautiful chicks all day long? I'll do that. And then it quickly went out of, like, that wasn't what it's all about, and it quickly went out of his head. But he's like, yep, leotards, tutus, the whole 9 yards. Yep. And then he proceeded to show me some of the moves in his postal uniform with his big thick beard and his tattoos and his big upper body. Yeah, oh yeah. Balancing on his toe and all that. Yeah, oh yeah. Spinning around it. Yep. Throwing his foot up in the air and pointed out. He did the whole thing. I was like, damn, dude, that's awesome. You're my dude. Yeah, and I part of it too. I'm a non-judgmental person, so he didn't think I would be like, you're a sissy. No, I was just like, damn, that's awesome. It's little things like that, I think, that are interesting with people, and they don't realize that they're as exciting as they think they probably are. Yeah. Oh yeah. When my grandmother, here's the thing. Oh yeah, when my grandmother was in her twilight years, she mentioned that she was raised in speakeasies by one of my uncles. I really wish she was willing to share stories when she was more together. Yep. Yeah, a house I moved into was a speakeasy when I was a kid, and yeah. No more super chats. Nope, they demonetized my channel. Yeah, you can't give super chats any longer. I turned off so much of my ad revenue for the channel that they took me off of AdSense, which is YouTube / Google's way of paying people. So yeah, no more. Nope. Yeah. It says, oh yeah, ballet is amazingly difficult. I can imagine too, right? Like, I'm sure he walked into here like, this ain't no big thing, right? It's like, wait a minute, what? And then I'm sure all that other, he basically was like, yeah, all the other stuff went out his window. And he said he was amazingly supported because he was so non-traditional that when he came in and decided to train with them, that they just embraced him in all kinds of ways. They supported him, didn't make fun of him, nothing like that, and he respected them. I was like, that's really cool, dude. And he's like, yeah, he said he learned ballet between driving a taxi. Yep. He could check, he'd make his own hours, and he made sure he was there, and then he made sure he supported them when they went to dance competitions and recitals and performances and things like that. He made sure he was there and all that kind of stuff. Yep. I was like, that's awesome. Yeah, I wouldn't fight anybody who was a ballet dancer either, because it's like ballet is like one of those deceptively graceful things when you don't realize how much strength it takes, and you're just like, fuck. Yeah. Sorry, the algorithm ate your channel, but really staying monetized means becoming very milquetoast. Yeah, I don't do this for the money. I do it to hang out. That's why I'm going late here a little bit. Oh man, yeah. Oh yeah, talking about that's cool. Yeah, the dude, he was just like, he supported all their efforts, and he said very quickly he stopped thinking about the dancers as sexual objects very quickly. He was like, oh no. He was like, they are like physical beasts, and he's like, I'm just trying to keep up. And he said from that point, very early on, he was like, nope. He's like, he gives them all respect. I was like, well, how did you become like a letter carrier? He was like, well, I had to make, you can't be a taxi cab driver forever. But yeah, he said he was bored and wanted something to do, and he was driving a cab, and he wanted to make friends, and he thought that would be cool. He thought he could also pick up chicks, and it didn't turn out that way, but he said it was better. He was better for it. I was like, yeah, that's a great story. Well, anyway, guys, thank you very much for being about our show. Thank you very much for letting me share a little bit about Juneteenth as well. If you're someone who is of a mindset that's just like, Juneteenth is stupid, or, you know what I mean? All right, man, take your break. On again tonight. I hadn't thought about that. I can't promise that. I can't do that. I can't promise that. But I gotta get out of here. You guys gotta get out of here too. Don't you stop hanging around here. Guys, have a great one. Thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for letting me go off a little bit on AI girlfriends and whatnot. There's plenty of movies that are great. I would suggest watching Her, Companion, and Ex Machina are like three really great examples of like the AI girlfriend going wrong are really great examples. Yep. I'm the exact same way. Ballet sounds a badass. Actually, I bet you could apply that to martial arts and kick the shit out of people. Yes, I actually trained martial arts. One of the students we were training with was a ballet dancer. Like, she was extremely flexible, and we were very jealous of her flexibility. But she wanted to learn some strength with her martial arts. Most of it was psychological. So once she got past her psychological barrier about embracing her strength, she was a badass in martial arts. Oh yeah. Same advice. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, Juneteenth is the opposite of stupid. Thanks for the show. yeah. So some people just don't know, and when people don't know, they get a little bit they embrace their idiocy, right? They're like, I don't know this, and it's stupid. And you're like, well, because you don't know what it's about. Yeah. Hey man. Hey, say the machine too. Yeah. Absolutely. So, guys, have a great one. Come up with some. Go spread the word on AI girlfriend movies and television shows if you're up to that, and yeah, be careful of the AI systems that you're using. Once you start giving them personalities and a framework to talk back to you, it might be pretty easy to fall into the trap as well. And all the people that are pointing at the pervs that are into this, you be careful yourself. Yeah, I'm talking to you ladies, talking about all the guys and blah, 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 right? In this proverbial gender war that's online, that has spilled into our real world. It's like, well, what do you expect guys to do if there aren't many examples of guys, and then if we're losing examples of how men are supposed to be men, and then the bar keeps getting raised on what the perfect man should be, then you're going to get a larger population below. And so, yeah, it's going to be very easy to fall into a chat bot with a name and a personality and I'm going to marry it before it runs out of memory kind of deal, or it asks me for another $39.95 a month, or else it's going to end the relationship with us. Yeah, that's going to be a thing. And it would be very easy for us to point our fingers at those people, but those people are us. And given the right circumstances, and if an AI system is constantly in your ear, on your phone or your computer, always around you, it can very easily find the circumstances for it to embed itself in your life so you don't leave it alone. And Google's probably going to end up passing away because traditional search is going to be gone. It's pretty much gone now. But anyway, guys, have a great one. Thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. And also, have a great day. I'll see you later. See you tomorrow. Peace and tranquility. We'll go out with Obsidian Star. All right. Peace. Bye.